Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Completionist. So for this episode, guys, last episode before I make the trip out to Alberta to work during the winter and spring season, and I won't be back again until the summer. And for my final episode, while I'm home, the episode that I wanted to make another episode of a completionist point of view. And the subject that I wanted to tackle on is I'm getting pretty close to my 7-year anniversary on YouTube. When I pretty much started my YouTube channel on February 17th of 2010. And we're pretty much getting close to that date right now. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on being on YouTube for as long as I have, and my thoughts about it, and pretty much just an analysis on the future of this channel and the direction that I see YouTube these days, and especially with a lot of the gaming channels. So I'll try not to drag this video on too long, but anyone who's used to my videos, I tend to ramble on quite a bit. One of the reasons why I wanted to do the video in this location is, for people who have been a part of my channel for a really long time, this is the same area where I filmed my first video for my channel, and not really much has changed, except the color. We put a little bit of paint to the house, on the walls there. And obviously I've gotten a little bigger since what I was 7 years ago. And this time I'm rocking the shades, but strangely enough, I still got this same goddamn shirt that I had 7 years ago. No kitty in the corner though, but this video is just pretty much a reflection on myself and basically my thoughts on the channel and how much YouTube has changed, especially in the realm of video games and video game culture, because especially on YouTube, it's been a really tough year, with regards to the content that I watch, because this year, not necessarily this year, but over the last 6 months, I lost. Well, it's not only I lost, but we all lost gaming channels that just decided to hang up and quit. And it's really disheartening, because these were 3 YouTube channels that I actually enjoyed, and just all of a sudden they just decided to call it quits, and it's perfectly understandable. And those 3 YouTube channels were Lifespiller 79 and 9-Volt Games and strangely enough Retro Liberty, and they just completely disappeared off the face of the planet. And that's kind of a crying shame, because they did make some really good content, but one thing we need to allow ourselves to understand as viewers is we can't be selfish. Like I said, a lot of people have different reasons of why they even make gaming channels to begin with, and sometimes life happens and certain priorities come up, and for some people it may not be any fun anymore, or for some people they decided to get married and start a family, and there's much more important priorities in life. And this is one of the reasons why that, because I've seen a lot of gaming channels disappear, that they have to disappear for a couple of months just so that they can reassess their life and that kind of thing. And one of the things that I always say to them is, you take all the time you need. Because I'm not going to treat them like that, because I understand that beyond any YouTube channel is a real person with real life responsibilities, and I think us as viewers, we have to be respectful towards that. And the thing is that, and ultimately it comes back to me, because I've been on YouTube for 7 years, and over those 7 years, I only have a little over 1,200 subs. I'm not big in the grand scheme of things, but for anyone who's ever watched my channel, you know that I have no desire to be big. I'm not that type of person. I don't shove my content all over social media. Like I put my videos on my Facebook page, and there was a time that I used to put my videos on certain forums, but I don't even do that anymore. It's just I just upload and just basically put it on my Facebook, and maybe one or two groups on Facebook with some really close friends, and that's about it. Because I have no desire to have a big audience. I think having a big audience, can be a blessing and a curse. And I'm really grateful, for the small audience I do have, because I pretty much know everybody on a first name basis, and everybody knows me on a first name basis. I have an audience that I can joke around with. I can make tasteless jokes, and just hang around with a bunch of the guys, and a bunch of the girls that I'm really good friends with, and we share common interests. Because when I think about it, 7 years is a long time to be on YouTube. When I first started on YouTube, I was on YouTube when the longest videos you could make were only 10 minutes. And then eventually they moved the cap up to 15 minutes, and then eventually you can make videos for as long as you want. I've seen so many iterations of YouTube. I've seen when partnership used to be the big thing, and then it moved on to monetization, and then it moved on to other avenues as well. But I've never asked for partnership. I've never monetized my videos ever. I think in the grand scheme of things, I've come out pretty unscathed, with regards to YouTube, because I've seen a lot of bad things happen to a lot of channels. And I'm just grateful, nothing necessarily bad has ever happened to me, with regards to copyright or content IDs or anything like that. I think the only thing I ever came across was there was one video that I made where I went to a fighting game tournament here locally, and I guess not necessarily my video got flagged, but it had a small little content ID on it from somebody, and just an ad got put on the video, which is fine. Because I'm never going to be into YouTube for the money or for any monetization reasons. I don't know, you have people, that have a lot of reasons why they want to join YouTube to begin with, and ultimately it's their channel, and they have the right to do with it with how they see fit. But for anyone that's known me, for a really long time, I often use the saying that money always corrupts the things that we love the most. So I just leave money out of this. And unfortunately, sometimes that gets held against me, because I don't believe in offering financial support, especially for people who have gaming channels. I think, if you surround yourself with a ton of games, I think you're doing pretty good financially on your own. And if you can't find a way to finance your channel yourself, then I don't think you have the right to pretty much guilt people into doing it for you. But as much as I disagree with it, I can't really hold people against it, because everybody has the right to do with their channels what they see fit. And but for the 7 years I've been on YouTube, I've seen a lot of gaming channels come and go. I've seen a lot of great gaming channels come and go. But it's as I said before, sometimes people just have different priorities, and sometimes that, they don't have the desire to do it anymore, or maybe they want to move on to something else. And like I said, you can't really fault people for that. But there are a ton of YouTube channels that have stuck around for as long as I have, and even though they may not have the biggest YouTube audiences out there, I applaud them that they still have the motivation and the drive to do it. And there's so many channels I can think of, and I'm going to mention those channels. These are channels that probably got anywhere between over 1,000 subscribers to around 10 to 11,000 subscribers. But but listen, if I address any of these channels and you watch this video, one thing I want to make perfectly clear: listen, I am really grateful that you guys stick around for as long as you have. Some of you turn your channel into a business, others do not. But when you can find the time to actually make content, I will always make the time to watch it, and I will always try to appreciate the time that you put into it. And some of the channels that have been around for a really long time is a channel I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and that's a Ball and Nick 1982. I've had the pleasure of meeting him at PAX. He's one of the guys that, you know, I respect the most because he's a lot like me. He's just, you know, a blue collar job. He doesn't work the most glamorous job, and, you know, he doesn't necessarily make content very often, but he knows how to straddle that fine line between having a gaming life and abiding by his real life responsibilities, because he does have a significant other and he does have a family, and I admire the fact that he knows how to balance both. And you know, he's been around YouTube for a long time, but yet he still makes content, and I always appreciate his opinions because they are blunt, they are honest, and I appreciate that. He's not afraid to tell people who own Little Samson that it's nowhere near the price tag that it goes for. He's not afraid to open his sealed games, and those are sentiments that you know I can really agree with, because you know he doesn't really care about the collection aspect. You know, he's a lot like myself. You know, if he owns a game, you know, he has the full intention of actually playing it and actually enjoying it as much as possible. And you know, there's a ton of other channels, you know, that have stuck around for a long time. My favorite gaming channel of all time, Siraxor, or Studio Mudprints as it goes right now, and he has a show called Bullet Heaven, and personally I think it has some of the highest production of any YouTube show out there. I think his production value puts other larger YouTubers that have over 100,000 subscribers to shame, but you know, he only has a little over 3,500 subs, and yet for the longest time he's run my favorite gaming YouTube show of all time, and I think he'll always have the ability to do that, and he has true passion for his show because he makes all of his own music, he edits all of his own videos, and I really appreciate all the work that he puts into it. And then you have like several other channels that have been around for a long time. You know, you have Claudekill, who's a Dutch gamer that's been around. He's one of the biggest Sony fanboys you'll ever meet, and he's actually pretty hilarious. And he's one of the longest channels I've actually been subscribed to. He was one of the first channels I actually subscribed to. I think I've been subscribed to him for 5 to 6 years now. And you know, other guys who still make videos, you know, Silver Mongoose, I know he doesn't have the opportunity to make videos that often just because of, you know, his work and things along those lines, but you know, he still, but you know, even when he does make content, even if it doesn't happen for several months at a time, I still appreciate, you know, when he actually makes a video. And you have a ton of other, you know, channels that aren't necessarily big. You know, Mark Vigir, you know, he's been around YouTube a really long time, and yet, you know, he makes really awesome content, just basically giving his opinion about a variety of different topics. And you know, he doesn't necessarily have the biggest audience either. And more channels are people like Jurassic Junkie and Retro Gamer 3, and I know I'm forgetting several others, but you know, these guys, they may not necessarily have the biggest audiences, but they still keep making content, and I actually really appreciate that, because like, they make the content when they feel like making the content. You know, they're not slaves to their channels, and they understand that they do have real life responsibilities. But you know, when you can find the time to actually make the time to make a video for yourself, and you actually put it out there, then you know, I'll always appreciate it. And if it's something I can relate to, then I'm going to try my best to make a comment on that video. But you know, regardless, you know, if the channel is big or small, and regardless if you have a high production value or not, you know, one thing, you know, I want people to understand is that the true value of any gaming YouTube channel out there is your own personal opinion and your ability to tell stories. Because everybody has a way in which gaming has affected their lives, and everyone has their own different stories, their own different opinions. And you know, I can watch videos in which gaming opinions completely differ from mine, but I'm not afraid to hear the opposing view. So regardless if you're big or small, The one sentiment that I want you guys to take out of this video is that your opinion does matter, regardless if you have the biggest audience or not. And the fact that you want to take time and take yourself and put your opinion, on YouTube is commendable, and it's admirable, and it should be respected. And and there are a ton of smaller channels that I'm subscribed to right now. Guys like BioPhoenix and Gaming Through the Decades and Majority and Down Phoenix and several others. I know I'm missing a ton of people, and but one thing I want you guys to take into consideration is, listen, as long as you guys have the drive to make videos, I'm always gonna make the time to watch them, because you have to be willing to not only believe in your own arguments, but also be willing to listen to the other side of the argument. One of the things right now, the Nintendo Switch is a big topic right now, and I have no interest in getting it. I can't remember the last time I bought a system on launch, but I'm not going to immediately diminish the people that actually want to buy it first thing or want to get it on launch. But with regards to me and my channel, why keep making videos, if you don't necessarily have a big audience? It's because, I actually like to do it. That's what it comes down to. My work situation is tough. Everyone's very well aware of that. And, even though, my videos can be very inconsistent and it can come in spurts, all really depends on how often I get home. I actually really do enjoy to make videos, because a lot of people have told me that they actually enjoy my thought process, on a lot of different video game topics. And I don't want to ever make money, a part of the opinion process. I have a hard time trusting an opinion, when a paycheck is put behind it. But ultimately, if those people, put paychecks in front of their opinions, that's their choice, and they have to live with the consequences of that choice, regardless if it's positive or negative in nature. But ultimately, I still like making content, and for as long as I'm alive, I'm still going to keep this channel going. Because let's face it, in the realms of the actual name, The Completionist, only to my closest friends will that name ever be associated to me. Because there's a much more popular completionist, on YouTube that appeals to a larger demographic of gamers, and I ultimately have no issues with that. Because, like I said, Gerard's channel is his business, and it pays his bills. It gives him a sense of accomplishment, and I ultimately can't hold him against it. That's one of the reasons why I never copyrighted the name, or I never shoved the Completionist name everywhere. But as long as I have the ability to make content, then I always will, because yes, I understand that YouTube is a huge corporation and they don't know how to run the website, and a lot of people got fucked over by it. But I think the biggest thing that you need to take into consideration, and it's the way I look at it as well, is that ultimately YouTube is a free service. It's completely free. You have the ability, as long as you have an internet connection, to put yourself and your opinion out there. And sure, the copyright laws need to be changed, and they need to be fixed so that YouTubers of various size and various importance can make the content that they want. But ultimately, I'm grateful that YouTube service is free, because they could ultimately just say, well, fuck it. We'll start charging people now to actually upload videos. It's one of the reasons why, I never went to VidMe or, any of these other video streaming sites, because I'm perfectly fine keeping my content on YouTube. But, like I said, different people have different priorities. And, like I said, as long as you're happy with what you do, that's all that matters. And, in closing, the biggest lesson that I want people to learn, and it's the biggest thing that I want to teach people, is that, you should never be a slave to your audience. You don't have to abide by anybody's wishes. you make the content that you want to make. And if people are respectful, then they'll stick around. You don't have to abide by any schedule. You don't have to basically stress yourself to get a video out at a certain time. You make the content that you want to make. If there are certain priorities in your life that come first and you have to disappear from YouTube to take care of those priorities, nobody should really hold that against you. Ultimately, just remember, the true value in your YouTube channel is your opinion. And as long as you have an opinion and you're willing to share it, in front of the world, with regards to video game culture or video game collecting, then it's an opinion worth listening to, regardless if you agree or disagree with it or not. And for those channels that have stuck around for a long time, I commend you. I commend you for still making the content that you want to make, and finding the time to actually make it. Because I appreciate it, and I know a lot of other people appreciate it as well. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I got to say about what I've learned about YouTube in 7 years, and basically the future of my channel. Because anytime that I'm home, I'm still going to make content. And I was really trying to get a how to complete video made, guys, but I decided to take on one bitch of a game that requires a lot of footage, and that was Breath of Fire 3. I almost got it completed. I got about 5 hours out of the 80 hours recorded of certain scenes that I need in order to make my review video. And my script is pretty much done, but I don't think anyone's going to get a chance to see it until I come back during the summer. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much my thoughts on the subject, and I'll be heading back to Alberta tomorrow morning. So anyway, to all those channels, big and small, you keep making the content to the best of your ability, and as long as you allow yourself to stick around, I'll always continue to watch. And if you decide to give it up, for whatever reasons you decide, I'll always respect that. And in closing, for the people who have over 100,000 subscribers, I think if you've reached that mark in your life, you do have the ability to now turn your channel into a business, and there's really nothing wrong with that. But it's just, I always believe in keeping things simple. And there are a few channels that are fairly popular that are over 100,000 subscribers that I do watch, and you guys have the ability now to turn something you love into a career for yourself, and all I can say is all the power to you. I may not be a person that may not mix money with YouTube, but I can't really fault the people that actually do it either. So anyway, guys, take care. I wish you nothing but the best.